I have a problem. A massive problem. I'm able to make these amazing pieces using reference and without. It's trash. Lighting, trash. Perspective, trash. Anatomy is actually serviceable. This was brought on by my reliance on reference. Almost every single piece I had created was using reference. This meant I didn't need to understand why things appeared as they did, but instead learn to draw things as it is. When I had realized this glaring issue, I began to do the unthinkable and draw using shapes to make up things I draw. Then I had a light bulb light in my head. I need to practice, but I also need to make videos. Perhaps if I fuse the two together, I could kill two birds with one stone. So that brings me to today. For the next 30 days, I'll be practicing with hopes of glowing up my art. But first, I need a benchmark, a no reference drawing done in an hour and a half to raise the stakes.
I first want to sketch up a thumbnail. Alright, that hour and a half starts now. Okay, first thing I need to do, pull and redo it. Use it as a guide, but not use it entirely. At first I was gonna do like when you crisscross, but do I even know how to do that? Yeah, the foot would need to come across like that. So then something like this would become something like that. Going completely just based. Oh, this is hard. Ish. What is that jawline? She's hearing something very interesting right now. Now that I'm done this, I now need to decide things like hair and clothes. Well, I think I'll give her a t-shirt. Point of tension is right here. I don't think she's gonna be buff, so there's an elbow. I'm thinking that maybe she has it like tied together, so then it's so she's gonna have it tied right here. This arm looks off too. Make it easier on myself, she's wearing socks. Now line art time. How does a knot look like? Is this really important right now? Do I really need to be looking at how a knot looks like? A knot is just one that goes in through one and out through the other. Wait a minute, I've already spent more than half of my time on the sketch alone. No, I still need to shade it. There would not be enough space to straighten your arm. Oh man. I mean, it's not terribly different, but still annoying that I had to fix it. Ooh, what did I do here? By the end of the 30 days, maybe the only thing that's improved is the fact that I have that I actually managed to color it. Oh, I just realized I'm drawing on the wrong layer. There's only one thing left, and that's right here. Boom. I'm keeping the background white just because of simplicity, and then I just give her a shadow. Cool. Now, given my lighting scenario, I'm going to do something very big brain, and I'm going to use this as a way of finding out how to light it. Now I'm going to paint according to this. I hope I have enough time to actually color this though. I thought I had way more time than I did. Alright, well, it's done. For the amount of time I spent on it, which is an hour and a half, and I had zero reference whatsoever, I think it's pretty good. This is where the important part comes in, where I'm going to be practicing for 30 days to see how much improvement I can make, and see if I can do this, improve the anatomy, improve the perspective, and improve the shading tenfold, because the shading is actual garbage here.
These 30 days, I will be spending the first week practicing perspective, week 2, practicing the skeletal system, week 3, muscular system, and week 4, coloring and value studies. Day 1, perspective, arguably one of the most important parts of art, the ability to draw within space. This is my first time studying perspective. Actually, this is one of my first times practicing art except for the art style studies I did. Before I even began, I struggled to make the perspective grid. How on earth am I struggling on a perspective grid? I didn't even start yet. It's the most basic thing. It's like, I need that before I can even start. I'm already starting. Once I get that down, it's actually fairly easy to draw boxes in 1-point perspective. But if you don't know what 1-point perspective is, it means that there is one vanishing point. A point where everything comes together and disappears. Day 2. This day is 2-point perspective. Just like day 1, it's fairly easy. So I decide to draw cylinders as well. And oh boy. Drawing circles is hard enough on its own, but now drawing circles as they conform to the perspective was pure torture. I was both confused and unable to draw a good circle. 3-point perspective on day 3. It just makes perfect sense. The boxes were yet again pretty easy. Just follow the grids. Surprisingly, the cylinders weren't that bad this day, but I also did not draw much of cylinders either. At the end of the day, I ended up drawing things around my room. They were very simple shapes, but honestly, they didn't turn out very good. Day 4. Boxes, cylinders, and now pyramids. All at the same time in different perspectives, from 1-point perspective to 2-point perspective to 3-point perspective. And the pyramids weren't actually that bad either. I found a pretty good way to draw them. You just find the center point, you draw a line that's going straight above, conforming to the perspective, and then connect the dots with the different sides. At the end, I drew things around my room, but I realized that all of them are very basic shapes. They're either squares, rectangles, actually those are just the two things. So I tried drawing my windowsill. It did not look very good. Day 5, basically day 4 again. Although at the end of the day, I did in fact find out that I did not run out of interesting stuff to draw in my room, as I had this cool cup. This cool A&W cup in my room, and I also drew 2 Lego minifigures, and they actually turned out pretty good. Day 6. I attempted to break down the human body using shapes. This did not go well. Turns out it's harder to recreate the human body while also trying to be accurate towards reference. Day 7. This day I drew legs in 1-point perspective because the legs brought me so much trouble in the benchmark drawing, and I did the same with the hands because they're hands. Day 8. This marks the second week of the challenge, meaning studying the skeletal system. For this day, I spent time studying the skull from different angles. This was surprisingly really fun, and I drew each skull surprisingly well, except for that one right there. That one I did not draw very well. Day 9. Pain. I hated drawing each rib, all 24 in 4 different angles. I'd prefer to never ever do this again. Pure pain and agony. Day 10. Pain. The sequel. This day was drawing the spine, and at first, drawing the discs is fine. But then, when it came to drawing the weird shapes on the back, it was horrible. It was tedious and annoying, but if that wasn't bad enough, I also did hands, but worse. I didn't think it was possible, but here I am, drawing skeleton hands. It makes normal hands seem easy. Sadly, all the pain and suffering I went through, it turned out bad. Like, what are these spider-looking things? Day 11, Skeletos. Surprisingly easier than hands and actually pretty fun. I love drawing the shapes of the bones. Day 12, Skeleton arms. And it was pretty chill, just funky cylinders. Don't need to say more. Day 13, Funky Cylinders, Part 2, Leg Edition. Day 14, a skeleton was drawn on this day, and I did not like this. 1 star. I had to draw the ribcage again, and I only drew this one time because I had to draw the ribcage again, and honestly I was not planning on drawing the ribcage multiple times over and over again, so 1 perspective it is. Day 15, 3rd week, marks muscles. And on this day I started with the arm. I'm already pretty familiar with the upper arm, so that part was actually pretty easy, although the forearm wasn't that easy because there's so many muscles, and I severely underestimated how long it would take, so I did not finish the arm this day. Day 16. Unfortunately, I didn't finish the arms this day either. Drawing each muscle in 6 different perspectives proved itself to be quite the challenge. Day 17. I had hands because most forearm muscles insert in the hand. I also needed to draw the muscles in the hand, so I did that on this day as well, marking the arm muscles and the hand muscles off on the same day. Day 18. I started on the legs, and this time I draw on top of a 3D model so it can be more accurate. Like with the arms, I didn't finish the same day. Day 19. More leg muscle drawings. I started to get into the rhythm of drawing these muscles fast, although I was not retaining any information whatsoever. And, like the day prior, I still did not finish. Day 20. I make my way onto the feet this day. Why on earth is there so many muscles in the feet? Like, I understand it, but like, I don't like it. It was taking so long, and why would I need to know? I ain't no foot fetish artist. So, like, I just quit those muscles. I mean, like, is it really necessary? I don't think so. Day 21. Abs, back, and chest. So much to do with only one day left. Abs were pretty annoying. Majority of it was one piece, which was fine, but then they came along the obliques. Why is there so much? Like 3 for each rib. Why do we three muscles for each oblique for each rib? Oh my goodness. Then there was the back muscles, which aren't that bad when you're not looking at the spine. Oh, but when you do, oh boy. There are such a grand amount that I decided to switch to drawing the pecs. The pecs were very easy, and it was fairly nice to draw. There I was, back again. Since I had already spent 3 hours that day, I just decided to work on the visible back muscles, being the lats and traps. Who would have guessed that 1 week wasn't enough to learn all the muscles? Woohoo! I don't know. Day 22. Value studies. Finally, something fun after the tragedy that was week 3. Values are extremely important as it's the basis of readability. Here I'm only doing 2 values, as you only need 2 to be able to make an art piece. It doesn't go very well. Readable? Yes. Looks good? No. Day 23. This day is still 2 values, and I had created 2 pieces. The first vibe is impeccably creepy, and I was honestly so proud with it. I mean, besides that thumb right there, I think this is a phenomenal piece. The other piece had me being very impressed with myself for being able to tell that these blobs are a cigarette, and the smoke. Oh, it came out so good. I was like so impressed. So happy. Day 24. 3 values adds a whole new layer of depth. The first drawing illustrates this quite well with the amount of detail I was able to portray in the eyes, although looking a little creepy looking, but still good. But the second one, that one's special. I can't explain it, but this is one of my favorite pieces of mine. No sketching and only 3 values. I just love looking at this one. I'm so happy with this. Day 25, nowhere to be seen. Day 26, I didn't record this day, but I did make this one piece, which at the time, I wasn't happy with. But now that I'm looking at it, it looks pretty cool. I like this one quite a bit. Day 27. I add colors into the mix. Now, this is like my regular rendering, except in 30 minutes, so I only focus on the forms. When I initially made this piece, I was fairly disappointed. Now looking at it, it's pretty good for 30 minutes. The other piece was amazing though. Day 28. The first 30-minute piece was straight booty. Confidence tanked. But I did redeem myself with the second piece. Besides that weird mouth placement, it's honestly great. I love the colors in this one. Day 29. All 4 weeks are officially over, and 1 day left until I redraw the benchmark. I spend the day revisiting the muscles of the arms and legs as it still wasn't quite ingrained into my brain. Day 30. The big day is here. Before I start, I draw simplified versions of the legs and arms in a last-ditch effort to remember how the limb muscles go. During the making of this art piece, I intended on having my live commentary, but it seems I must have forgotten to turn on my microphone. I don't know how many times I've done something like this, but this mistake happens so many times, it's annoying. So, my post-commentary, it'll be. Right off the bat, it's quite obvious that my construction lines are way better. The shapes are a lot clearer. I mean, like, look at that. So much better. I ended up drawing the face way more realistic, as the last one was too stylized, because I was trying to emphasize an emotion of being like, not emotion, but just like, oh yeah, she's really like paying attention, she's really listening, but I accidentally made her eyes too big for her head. Since I didn't study clothing, I still had no idea how to draw that shirt. I'm gonna be honest, like, it looked bad the first time, and it still looks bad this time. About an hour in, and I was done the line art, and was ready to start rendering. This followed in line with the original benchmark, so things were going alright. This time, I decided against doing grayscale first, as it seemed as last time it ended up taking more time than it actually ended up saving. So I just went straight into flats. And it's quite apparent that this time is so much better. No muddy colors. The 30-minute painting studies really did come in clutch. I feel like without going with grayscale, it allowed me to have, I had more freedom with my colors. I usually hear that a lot of times it's better to mark your values first and then do the colors, but I find that process of going from values to colors kind of hard, because then I don't really get the colors I want, and sometimes I do get the values I want, but just the colors end up feeling quite muddy. I kind of just like to do the values and colors at the same time. I feel like it gives it more of a vibrant piece, and with all these finishing details, it's done. And honestly, major improvements in the rendering. It went from being this gray, dark, flat piece with almost no shading to bright colors and a bit of smooth shading. There are some things that need work though. All the limbs are way too long this time around, and the perspective is serviceable. And don't get me started on the emotion in the piece. This one feels a lot more rigid, while the original one had that, oh yeah, I'm really listening, I'm really attentive right now, I'm really watching something. That's kind of just the way the original one feels, but this one feels more like, yep, I'm sitting upright and I'm kind of a robot. It's starting to seem like I might need more days to truly get the status of an art glow up. I don't know, maybe 90 days to get an art glow up? But let me know your opinion on whether or not I consider it to be an art glow up, or if I still need more time.